What we learned in our research is that if you teach people how to take their attention off of everything physical and material, everything known, there comes a moment where the brain begins to switch and we put our attention, instead of on matter, we put our attention on energy. And the quantum field is an invisible field of energy, of frequency, that's filled, fertile with possibility and information. So now, this invisible field of energy connects everything physical and material. In fact, most people, when they study matter, they see matter as emitting a field. But according to the quantum, it's not matter that's emitting the field, it's actually the field that's slowing down in frequency and creating matter. Okay, now if you can reverse that and get a person to a point where they're not their face, they're not their culture, they're not their age, they're not their profession, they're not their diet, they're not a son, or they're not a mother, they're not aware of their cell phone, they're not aware of their car, they're literally, their attention is completely in the present moment. They walk through this little door, they pass through the eye of the needle, and they enter this realm of the quantum. Now, if you teach people how to create from the quantum field instead of from matter, then if they do that properly and they understand the science of how, then they no longer have to go anywhere to get what they want. In other words, when a person can create the right type of energy, the right type of frequency from the field, and there's a vibrational match between their energy and whatever they want in their life, all of a sudden they start drawing experiences to them.
Hi, today we're going to take a look at an interview between Dr. Joe Dispenza and Emile Ortiz. For the full interview, see the link in the description. In this interview, Dr. Joe Dispenza speaks at length about the quantum field and the law of attraction. So what exactly is the quantum field and how does it relate to the law of attraction? Quantum field theory came about as a consequence of new scientific discoveries in physics in the early part of the 20th century, and it turned the world of physics upside down. Quantum field theory postulates that there is an interrelationship between matter and energy, and that neither is truly separate. Also, the relativistic quantum field theory opens the door to an infinity of possibilities. While mainstream physics avoids the obvious implications of quantum field theory and sticks rather to trying to understand how particles work, self-development theorists, on the other hand, have taken the findings of quantum field theory and applied them to how the mind works and reality operates. Of course, this is a pseudoscience, since none of it can be empirically proven. But its findings appear to work in the real world, which is what most people are interested in. As outlined here by Dr. Joe Dispenza, when we remove the individual from their environment, they can, instead of focusing upon external stimulation, instead focus upon whatever it is that they want to manifest in their life. In everyday waking consciousness, we are in the beta state, but through meditation we can enter the alpha state, a state of deepened, widened conscious awareness which is more expansive than everyday consciousness and where it is easy for us to communicate with our subconscious mind. Ultimately, we have to program the subconscious mind, and this is where alpha can help us. Dr. Joe Dispenza is a great exponent of meditation, and he believes that by meditating we can enter this alpha state and we can create our own reality because we are free from external stimulation. Now think about this for a minute. The law of attraction states that we get whatever we think, visualize and feel about on a regular basis. The law of attraction works when either consciously or subconsciously a coherent message is shared with the subconscious mind, which in turn kicks off the law of attraction and brings about a new manifested reality. Why is the subconscious mind so important a factor in manifesting the life which we want? The subconscious mind matters so much because it can project a certain frequency for a long period of time. Our conscious mind has the advantage of higher level thinking, but it also has the Disadvantage that it cannot maintain internal consistency for a long period of time. There is just too much of an energetic overhead in trying to do so. Higher level thinking takes a lot of energy. The human being is set up in such a way that the conscious mind is meant to program the subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind is then supposed to project or maintain this energy frequency, which in turn helps to select a certain type of reality from the quantum field. This energy frequency is working upon the quantum field and selecting out of the infinity of probabilities a reality that we want. Actually, we get what we want all the time. However, because we supply mixed messaging, since we lack internal consistency, we get a mixed bag of results. In particular, Dr. Joe Dispenza is emphasizing here the importance of switching our attention away from external stimuli, and instead, by turning our minds inwards, we can create a more positive inner image of what we want. We can create a more positive inner image of what we want. We then have to share this frequency with the subconscious mind, which in turn will keep the focus on it. Whatever frequency we've created within ourselves will in turn select from the quantum field our new reality.
In the quantum, every thought has a frequency. So when a person has the thought of their new job and they can feel the frequency of that thought, it wouldn't be lack, it wouldn't be separation, it wouldn't be frustration. The frequency of the thought of a new job would create the feeling of euphoria, excitement, bliss, gratitude. And thoughts tend to be electric in the quantum field, and feelings tend to be magnetic. And now we teach people how to create a Wi-Fi signal when they connect to the field, and they literally change their energy. The thought being the electrical charge, the feeling being the magnetic charge, and how you think and how you feel is broadcasting energy. Now, there's a little bit more that has to happen, because you have to have coherence in your brain. The brain's got to be very orderly, and it's emitting a field. Stress is static. Stress, you disconnect, because all of your attention is going on everything physical and material, and you're drawing from this energy that's surrounding your body, and you're turning it into chemistry, and now you're isolated, you're separate. So we teach people how to get that brain coherence going and that heart coherence going, and coherence is rhythm and order. And now you have this Wi-Fi signal, and when there's a vibrational match, or you've synchronized your energy to synchronicity, those serendipities, those coincidences, those synchronicities, those opportunities start coming to you. Now, what's the cool part about that? It seems like there's a shortening of time between the thought of what you want and the experience of what you want, between cause and effect. When we create from the field instead of from matter, if we get really good at it, then the feedback that we experience in our life is letting us know that we're doing something correctly. And when you start getting the phone call or the email or the introduction to somebody, and you scratch your head and you go, oh my God, I'm the creator of my life. And all of a sudden, the next day, your belief in what's possible grows dramatically.
Here, Dr. Joe Dispenza speaks about the nature of thoughts as being electrical and feelings as being magnetic in nature, and that we can create our life by implementing both thoughts and feelings and projecting this frequency or vibration into the quantum field. Of course, Dr. Joe Dispenza is taking giant leaps of logic here, and this is where law of attraction proponents get a rough reception from the scientific orthodoxy. There's no way that any of this can be scientifically proven, and probably in reality, none of it works quite the way that Dr. Joe Dispenza outlines it. But nevertheless, in the real world, thoughts and feelings do affect the outcome. Is it, as Dr. Joe proposes, that the electric and magnetic combination creates a Wi-Fi connection, which then tunes into the quantum field? Or is it just that our subconscious mind works via thoughts and feelings, that by putting ourselves in the alpha state, we create a vibration in the subconscious via these thoughts and feelings, and then the consistency of these thoughts and feelings attract a certain reality to us? It's a case of the chicken and the egg. It's hard to know which is which, but what really matters is the result. Personally, I'm not too concerned about the minutiae, but one thing is for sure, we have to use strong thoughts and feelings and visualizations if we want the mind to attract a new reality into our life. Internal coherence is also key to success, probably because we need to reprogram the subconscious mind so it can project a certain frequency. If we think about the relativistic quantum field and realize that our thoughts can project a frequency into it, thus selecting a new reality, these thoughts create reality, and when we work from the field, things happen super quickly.
The arousal isn't pain. The arousal isn't anger. The arousal is ecstasy. The arousal is bliss. The arousal is connection. It's ineffable. There's no word to describe this feeling of oneness or wholeness. Now, that is a very powerful signal that's coming to the body, but it's not coming from the outer environment. It's not coming from a girlfriend. It's not coming from a sports car. It's not coming from a wardrobe or a football game. It's not coming from anything out there. It's coming from within you, right? And so when a person learns how to slow their brainwaves down and they move from the beta brainwave state, we're in beta right now, we're conscious and aware that we're in three-dimensional reality. Tiger runs through the room here. We move into high beta. That's an alarm. We're fear. We have our heightened senses, right? Our senses are heightened. There's danger. Our body gets a rush of adrenaline. We feel like our attention is on the environment. That's where the danger is. And we got a certain amount of time to get from here to there. And we're going to move as fast as we can. Now, that's what stress and survival does. And people spend 70% of their life living in this state.
Here, Dr. Joe Dispenza is speaking about the mystical experience of bliss, which is a state which we can enter once we realize that separateness is not real. When I say realize, I mean to make it real. We can think of this philosophically, but this does not really mean anything. It's just a philosophical idea in our head. However, when we enter into the alpha state, we can shift our conscious awareness in such a way that we do not just know there is no separateness, but rather we feel it. And when there's no separateness, there's no sense of lack, and instead we have a feeling of bliss. Another theme which we have to understand with Dr. Joe Dispenza and his work is that he continually refers back to the biological wiring of the body and the brain, and how so long as we are living in the phenomenal world, we will end up in a biofeedback loop which tends to be negative in nature. The biggest single challenge that humans face in their effort to live at a higher level is the way in which our physical bodies are set up. Our bodies are animalistic in nature and are designed to react rather than respond. Dr. Joe states that when we enter high beta, a state of heightened awareness, we are now focused totally upon physical survival. One of the things which has always surprised me is how often I've met people who are living a very similar life from an external perspective, and yet internally their worldview and how they feel about life are radically different. This is all because of the life paradigm which we are living in, as it sets up the lens through which we look at life. Now, of course, we have to do reality checking, as the world as it stands right now is in pretty rough shape. We cannot simply stand by and let things be the way that they are. But at the same time, if we place all of our focus upon the external world and let it stimulate us and reprogram our minds with its paradigm of hedonism, nihilism, and cross-commerciality, then we end up living a vacuous, empty life, which in turn increases our sense of self-isolation and our desperation regarding the future. Another challenge here is how many people have negative expectations regarding the future. Each of them is unwittingly joining their energies together to help select negative realities out of the quantum field. If we want to lead a more happy, successful, and meaningful life, then we have to be careful about what thoughts we think about, what feelings we have, and what visual images we ponder upon on a regular basis. It's not that we have to be perfect, or can never say an angry word, or have an idle daydream. This is all fine, but what we consistently and coherently place our focus on will over time determine our life destiny. In general, we have to select the good rather than the bad. Try not to get over emotional and attempt to visualize and feel our positive future happening right now. By taking some time out every day, we can change our paradigm, and in doing so, we will automatically upgrade our life. The quantum field is a two-way road, in that what we project is reality, and what reality we internalize, we reproject all over again. Without any effort to change the inner self, we will be stimulated either positively or negatively by our external environment, which in turn will program our subconscious mind, and this will result in a projection of a certain frequency into the quantum field, thus reselecting the life which we already have. For most people, this is the biggest life challenge that they face. They feel that no matter what they do, they end up back in square one over and over again. Paradoxically, while the world is full of change, everything ends up being the same. Both personal and societal negative patterns are recreated with only minor changes all over again. It is very difficult to change anything in a meaningful way. What Dr. Joe Dispenza is advocating is that by taking some time out every day to meditate and shift the mind into an alpha state, we can then feed the mind the programming which we want so as to manifest the reality which we'd like. We are automatically selecting from the quantum field anyway, so why not consciously select a good and meaningful life over and above a life which is very stuck in many ways? Not that life can never be simple. Being a human being is inherently complex and challenging, but we have to understand the law of attraction in the quantum field and the subconscious in how they work, and how by making a concerted effort to live a happier, more productive and meaningful life through the selective use of our minds is a realistic possibility. I hope you liked this video. If you do, please like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you next time.